Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I will be talking about Shadowlands Timewalking, and in particular, I want to show you all the new rewards that you will be able to get with this new event. So Shadowlands Timewalking will start in December during patch 11.2.7. So basically, you will be able to start doing this event in 1 month and a half. And with this event, as always, we are getting tons of different rewards, including some mounts, toys, pets, and also transmog items. So far, only the mounts, pets, and toy have been confirmed, but I'm pretty sure that based on all the different items that we were able to find in the data mining from midnight, a bunch of them will also be linked to this event. So first, let's have a look at the new mounts. We have the Bone Cleaver Skull Boar, which is just this boar mount right here. So again, just a normal recolored version of this mount. Then we have the Crimson Lupin with one of the different Zeret Mortis mounts. Again, pretty nice model overall, and this one will be pretty easy to get. And then we also have the Snowpaw Glypher Prowler. So as you can see, this is one of these different fox mounts right here, which again, I think is a pretty cool model. Then in terms of the different pets, we will also have the Post Assistant, which is this little robot right here, which I think is pretty cool. I'm not sure if he will be able to actually provide you with like just post services, but that would be pretty cool. And then we also have the Steward's Bubble Toy and the Wretched Dodger's brand. And so here, as you can see, basically you will be able to turn yourself into one of the little helper from Bastion. And then you have this one where you will be able to disguise yourself into something from Revendreth. So these different rewards are the ones that have been confirmed, and I can see the new vendor will be in Oribos and his name will be Collector Pasteled. But then next to that, I've been able to find a bunch of other transmogs that I'm pretty sure are also part of the Shadowlands Timewalking. First, we have the different weapons that are linked to each of the different zones. So here, for instance, you have this really cool one-handed sword that is themed after Maldraxxus. So this is what it will look like when you are wearing it. It's not a big sword, but it's a one-handed sword, so I think it makes sense. And the reason why I think these are linked to Timewalking Shadowlands is simply because here, as you can see in the name, it says Maldraxxus Runeblade. And we know that with the different Timewalking events, we are getting each time these unique appearances that were never used from that expansion. And so here I don't really see why this one will be linked to anything else. Then very similar, we have this really insanely cool pole arm. And this one is from Bastion. So here again, let me show it to you on a human. And this is what it will look like. So for me, this one is really cool. It's just such a pretty weapon. And again, this is something, as you can see here, that is dynamited as something that is part of Bastion. So that's how I know it will most likely be part of Shadowlands Timewalking. Then we also have this other one right here, which is a two-handed axe. So this one is apparently themed after the Mo. And this is what it will look like when you are wearing it on a human. And in my opinion, this is kind of crazy because it looks just so good. I mean, yeah, this is a really cool weapon. I have to say, when you see like the details and also like just the shape of the weapon, we don't really have a lot of these in the game. And so I think overall, this is a awesome transmog to get. And again, this is a two-handed axe, as you can see. Then we have this sword, which is the recolored version of another sword you can get in Revendreth. So again, I think this is a pretty nice model overall, and it is just a very big sword overall. Then we have a bunch of transmogs. So here you have, for instance, these different shoulder pads that will be cosmetic, so anyone will be able to use them. We also have these different Mo-themed back pieces right here. So as you can see, we have these two that are pretty nice. Then we have this other one right here, which is just a recolored version of the original back piece from Maldraxxus. So nothing too special, but I believe this is just another version of one that is already in the game. Then next to these, we also have a bunch of the different Zeret Mortis transmogs that are also available with this. So here, for instance, you have this crossbow Then we have this other weapon right here, which is a fist weapon. This is a very interesting one, as you can see. Then we also have this other held in offense item. Then we also have this other held in offense item. So this one is super, super interesting. As you can see, it's almost like, again, the Harry Potter Quidditch ball. And I'm not sure exactly how big it will be next to your character. Right now, it's a little bit bugged out, I think, on the Warhead model viewer, because as you can see, it's super big and it's rotating around you like that. But yeah, I think this one is going to be super awesome and definitely something very unique that we haven't seen before. Maybe just the artifact weapon for warlocks, I guess, with like the head that is flying around, but this is still a very cool weapon that you will be able to have as a transmog. Then we have this one-handed mace right here, nothing too crazy. Then we have this sword that is actually really, 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 really cool. So here, this is what it will look like on a human. And remember, this is a one-handed sword, I believe. So this is honestly such a good-looking sword. This is also one of my favorite one, I think, from these new Timewalking items. And yeah, as you can see, this is a one-handed sword. I think it looks super cool. Then we have this item, it's not really from Zereth Mortis, so I guess it is, but that's also one of these different polearms. We already have a few of them in the game. Then we also have the shield for the Zereth Mortis transmogs, which I think looks very cool as well. Then we have this staff right here, which is also very, very nice. And normally the ball just kind of opens, I believe, at some point. Yes, here, as you can see. So I think this is a pretty awesome effect on the weapon. So yeah, this is the staff, and just to show you how big this staff will be, that's basically the size right here. So this is a pretty big staff overall. And again, I really do like the animation on the ball and the fact that it just like, disassembles and then reassembles itself. And then we also have this, like I think this is a polar or two-handed mace, which is again a recolored version of some of the different maces that we got. But I think this one is a broken version, and also there is this big like shadowy effect on the weapon that is actually really, really cool. Here, as you can see, you have like really all of that, and I think this is also pretty unique. I don't think we have that many weapons that have this really, really cool like shadowy effect. So yeah, this is the other weapon you will be able to get. And again, here I don't really see why we would suddenly get all these different recolored versions, or not recolored, but new appearances from Zereth Mortis if it's not tied to Shadowlands Timewalking. And the last two weapons that I'm really not sure whether they will be linked or not to that are these ones right here. So this is the Uther maces. The reason why they might be is because, again, Uther was part of Shadowlands, and especially here we have the light version and then the voidish version. So I'm really not sure if it's tied to that or if it will be tied to something else. Because here, as you can see, this one says Griffon Rider, and the other one just says Uther. So again, I'm really, really not sure whether this is something that will actually be linked to the Timewalking event for Shadowlands, or if it will simply be something completely different. But overall, these two maces are still very, very nice. And yeah, just something that we'll have to wait and see exactly how you will be able to get them. But again, as Uther played a part in the storyline, especially in Bastion, I do think it would make sense to maybe add these as part of the Shadowlands Timewalking loot table. And finally, of course, you have all these different commendations right here. So the Avod, the Undying Army, Court of Harvesters, Ascended, Court of Knights, the Stitch Masters, Marasmus, the Ember Court, the Wild Hunt, the Archivist Codex, the Enlightened, Venari, and the Death Advance. So here, this is a pretty good news because especially some of these might be a little bit annoying sometimes to level up. For instance, the side reputations such as Marasmus, the Ember Court, the Stitch Masters. This type of reputations might be a little bit annoying, especially if you've never played that specific renown. So yeah, I think overall this is pretty good. And hopefully it will help you get all the different mounts from the different reputations from Shadowlands. And also remember that you can already start farming for some of these different rewards because they will have a few Timewalking events that will happen before December. And so just make sure to maybe start farming some of the different Tamra badges, because like that you will be able to directly have access to the 3 different mounts and to all these overcool rewards. So just something for you to keep in mind. I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos, and in the meantime I wish you all a great day. Bye!